Let's talk about overcoming objections. Usually in our case, we're talking about overcoming sales objections when someone's trying to decide whether they're going to buy or not. But it can be all kinds of objections, like whether someone goes out with you or whether a child goes to bed or whatever that is. But let's focus primarily on overcoming sales objections here. It's really important as you look at this that you understand what people are really saying when they have an objection to buying from you. Basically, when someone is objecting, they're really saying, I'm afraid. I'm afraid that whatever it could be, well, let's look at it this way. So the process of overcoming objections is basically the process of resolving and removing people's fears. Think about it that way. Because when you think about it that way, that helps when you go through the process of helping to overcome their objections. So in most cases, I have found the biggest fear that they have is that I won't be happy with myself for doing this. I won't be happy with myself for buying this, for subscribing, for whatever it is. And so what your job is to do is to help them recognize the advantages, overcome the fears of being unhappy, and then, by the way, making them happy after they buy, okay? So let's talk about some ways that you can help to overcome people's objections. First one is to answer their questions. This can be done in many, many different ways. It can be done in a webinar. It can be done in a product launch sequence. It can be done in a Facebook challenge. It can be done in all kinds of things. But the more the questions you can ask, the higher the trust level builds and the more the fear level subsides. Next, show them proof. Now, you've all seen this point. I don't have to explain this much. Basically, you're showing them evidence that they won't be unhappy with themselves afterwards. So oftentimes that evidence is this will work for them. Now, unfortunately, legally, and by the way, I'm not sure this is very unfortunate. Legally, we can't tell them that this will work for them. That's not legal to do. And I think that's wise. I think it's right for the laws to be written that way because we can't, they've got their factors and their time and whether they choose to do it in those things. And so as much as we'd love to be able to say, oh, this will absolutely work for you, we can't guarantee that, but we can provide them examples of how other people who've achieved success, case studies on how you helped somebody step by step and actually their process, testimonials, all help. I realize these three things sound the same, but technically they are differently. Next piece is justifying the price. So if let's say you've got a $2,000 course that teaches them how to negotiate better when they buy their next new car. And if you can teach them something that will save them $2,000 on that new car purchase, you just justified that purchase to them. Plus, every time they negotiate from now on, they'll be able to get that. It could be that, hey, at the price to make up this, all you have to do is sell 3 of these things and you can make up that. The more you can do to make it seem like this is something that I understand that I can do, and I totally believe that you can help me achieve that objective. That's your price justification. It works easiest when your product actually results in them selling more. It's a little harder when it's comes down to having a better relationship or something like that, because there isn't a dollar behind it. But if your product helps them build their business, helps them save money, something like that, it's a very easy price justification. If it's relationships, it could be, hey, it keeps you from getting divorced. So there's other ways you can justify price other than sales. It's just that it oftentimes works best and easiest when you are in some kind of business building or money saving kind of situation. Of course, there's always providing guarantees. So if you can give them a satisfaction guarantee, if you can give them a results guarantee, removing the weight from them. Another one is give them options. So here's this deal, and you can have this deal or this deal. As soon as you put in like a 4-pay option, you just gave them an option. If you give them a way to be able to remove themselves from the deal during the time, there might be some penalties attached. But when they can see that there are those factors, all those contribute to reducing their fears. Another piece is to help them become more comfortable with you personally. So now this doesn't work so much for Elon Musk, but if you're selling a course, a coaching program, consulting, something like that, it's important for them to be able to become comfortable with you. So that may be that you give them more time. So it could be that you give them more videos, more webinars, more question and answer sessions. Could be that trust. So if you can give them evidence that they can trust you. So I've built this business, this business, this business. I've got these degrees. I've got this certificate. That's why when you walk into the doctor's office, their degrees are posted up on the wall. They're building your trust in them. And what does that say? It says more helpful info. So the more information that you can give them that causes them to say, absolutely, that will work for me. That helps you being able to sell them on more in the future. Okay? So the more you can help them right now, the more likely they are to trust to buy from you because they have already started to see results. Another piece that works in many cases is direct access to you. So the ability to, especially when you're selling a course or coaching or consulting or something like that, the ability to actually talk with you. We have all been trained from childhood on up to read other people and decide if they're safe. And so one of the best ways to do that is to literally give people the option to talk to you. Now, if you're selling 3,000 of these in a day, you probably aren't going to be able to do that. But if you've got a fairly small list, fairly small offer, you may be able to do that. Give people the ability to have a one-on-one conversation with you, that during which you're going to do many of the things here. You're going to answer their questions, maybe give them some personal help, maybe talk about their specific situation and give them some advice around that specific situation, whatever it is. All of that, or maybe even you're talking about specific testimonials or specific case studies that are much like their particular situation. All those things help to build trust. So let's go back to the very first concept. When someone is objecting, they're really saying, I'm scared. So your job is to resolve their fears. And the primary fear is, I'm not going to be happy with myself for doing this. The more you understand that concept, the better you will do at helping to resolve objections. Because their objection may say, it's too expensive, it's too much time, I can't believe you're meeting on Thursday at 3 o'clock. I have a meeting at Thursday at 3 o'clock. I can't be on those. All those kinds of things are really going back to, I'm afraid that I am going to be unhappy with myself for doing this. If you can help them understand that they will be happy and increase the probability that they will be happy, the better you'll do at making that sale. There's at least 40 other things you can do to reduce objections that I didn't list here. Totally understand that. This was not an exhaustive course in overcoming objections. I wanted to put out a few concepts around this core concept of reducing fear to hopefully open your mind and help you understand some things you can do. What have you found to be some of the major ways that you help people to reduce their fear and overcome their objections? Let me know in the comments. Also, what are your biggest fears when you're trying to make a decision whether you hire somebody on as a coach or buy their product? Put those in there and let's have a conversation about that. That may help us all do a better job of overcoming objections in the future. This is Don Crowther saying, just go do this stuff.